my name's John, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make your own delicious cream cheese at home. And for this recipe I'll be using this fantastic soft cheese making kit from cheeseandyogurtmaking.com. And in this one little kit there's enough ingredients and equipment to make up to 10 large batches of various soft cheeses. All you need to add is the milk. Okay, first off I'll quickly go through the contents of the kit. And first up is this packet of powdered rennet. And if you don't know, the rennet is there to set the milk, which is called the curds, and this particular rennet is suitable for vegetarians. Next is the sachet of cheese culture. Now this is what gives the cheese its flavour. I'll show you how to make that up a little later. And once you've followed the instructions, there is enough culture in this little sachet to make up to 30 large batches of cheese. Next is this packet of cheese salt. It's very important to use this salt in cheese making. I'll explain a little later. Equipment included in the kit is a great little cheese thermometer, and it comes with a pan clip, so you can attach it to the side of your pan to keep a close eye on the milk's temperature. Also a large cheesecloth for straining the curds from the whey. Finally, a little recipe book containing 10 easy to make recipes you can make with this one soft cheese kit. On to making up the cheese culture starter. Like I said earlier, this is what gives the cheese its flavour, and the best way to get the most out of this little sachet is to inoculate 1 litre of milk with it. Once that's done, we can freeze the culture in ice cube trays, and that produces approximately 60 cubes. And you only need 2 of those to make up 1 large batch of cheese. All will become clearer as we move through the video. Okay, on to making the starter culture. Pour 1 litre, that's 1 3/4 pints of whole or full fat milk into a pan on your stove. Now bring that to a simmer, approximately 90 Celsius, that's 194 Fahrenheit. Use your thermometer so you know when the required temperature has been reached. And that's to kill off any bacteria that's already in the milk. Once that temperature's been reached, cover the pan and turn the heat down as low as possible and maintain that temperature for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, you need to cool the milk down as quickly as possible to 20 Celsius, that's 68 Fahrenheit. And the best way to do that is to carefully place the pan in a sink of cold water. Now that'll take approximately 10 minutes. Once your milk has cooled, open the cheese culture sachet and sprinkle it over the surface of the milk. Now whisk it in straight away vigorously. It needs to be thoroughly mixed in, so whisk for a good 30 seconds. Once mixed, quickly transfer the culture to a recently sterilised glass container. Now seal it immediately with cling film. Now let that incubate for 22 to 24 hours at room temperature. Once the time's up, your cheese culture should now have a pleasant, sharp, fresh, clean aroma to it. And all you have to do now is to get the mixture into sterilised ice cube trays and get them into the freezer. Right, with the starter culture out of the way, we can get on with actually making this cream cheese. There's a few ways to slowly heat the milk, but I'm going to use this double boiler method in this tutorial. Now all a double boiler is a pan on top of another pan. The water goes in the bottom pan and the milk in the top pan. And as the water heats up, it gently heats the milk in a controlled fashion. It's always good practice to sterilise everything before starting any cheese project. You can use chemicals to do this, but I like to use boiling water as shown. And since this water is already hot, we can use that for the bottom pan. Onto the preferred milk to use. Now the best milk to use in any cheese recipe is fresh farm or raw milk, but that's not a realistic option for most of us townies. The next best milk to use is unhomogenised whole milk. Now pour your 4 litres of milk into the top pan. Get your thermometer clipped on the side of the pan. Now heat the milk to 25 Celsius, that's 77 Fahrenheit, while stirring continuously. Once your temperature is reached, remove the pan from the heat source. Right, take 2 of your frozen culture cubes and place them in the milk. Or if you're using a single shot culture, sprinkle that in now. Give it a good stir until they've melted. Now place the lid onto the pan and let it sit for 1 hour. Once the time's up, sprinkle the powdered rennet onto the top of the milk. Now stir the milk gently for 30 seconds, making sure it is completely incorporated into the milk. It's important that you stir gently. Vigorous stirring will cause the rennet to work too quickly. Now cover the pan and leave it at room temperature for 12 hours. And when I come back, the rennet will have converted the milk into curds and whey. First job is to sterilise your cheesecloth. And while it's still wet but well wrung out, line a colander with it that's sitting inside a bowl. Your milk should now have set. Your curds, the solids, should now have separated from the whey, the liquid. And in cheese making, this is known as a good set. All you have to do now is carefully spoon or ladle the curds into the lined colander. Be gentle with this and take your time. Once all the curds have been transferred over to the colander, bring each corner of the cheesecloth together and tie them off as shown. Carefully lift the curds from the colander to another bowl. Now you can get creative as to how you're going to hang your cheesecloth to allow the whey to slowly drip out of the cloth. I like to use this large wooden spoon threaded through the knots, and I'll use my large mixer and cupboard shelf to suspend it as shown. And this is all part of the fun of cheese making, guys. Once your cloth is hanging freely, leave it and let it drip over 12 hours. Right, it's 12 hours later, time to see what we've got. Even if there's still the odd drip coming out of the cloth, it's done. Whatever you do, don't be tempted to squeeze any more whey out of it. It does need to have a certain amount of whey left in it. And turn out the now cream cheese into a large bowl. We have just over 1.2 kilograms, that's almost 3 pounds of pure top quality cream cheese. And much better and a lot cheaper than you can buy in any of the stores. Right, all you have to do now is decide what you're going to do with it. It's so versatile. I'm going to divide mine into 2 equal batches. One will be my wife's favourite, spring onion and garlic, and my favourite is paprika, chilli and garlic. You can simply add 1% cheese salt to have it plain. It's up to you whatever you flavour yours with. A quick word on cheese salt. It's important to use proper salt when making cheese. Cheese salt is a high purity sun-dried sea salt with absolutely no additives at all. Normal table salt, on the other hand, is fortified with iodine and contains other chemicals and anti-caking agents, and definitely should not be used in cheese making. I'll start with making up my favourite. In this little dish, I have half a teaspoon each of paprika, chilli and garlic granules, and 1 teaspoon of cheese salt. All you need to do is to add it to the cream cheese and thoroughly mix it in using a spatula. And that is 3 to 4 spring onions chopped fine. And if you think spring onions is a bit strong for you, you can use chives instead. They have a much milder onion flavour. And in this little dish there's half a teaspoon of garlic granules and 1 teaspoon of cheese salt. And once again, using a spatula, I'll get it all blended together. And there you go, 6 200-gram portions of the very best top quality cream cheese you'll ever taste. Most of it will go to family and some into the freezer, as it does also freeze very well, so don't worry about any getting wasted. What you don't use straight away will stay in the freezer for at least 3 months, and shelf life in the fridge I'd say about 6 to 7 days. And that's just one of the 10 soft cheeses you can make from this one little kit. Right, time for a proper taste. And that is so good.